Oops, sorry. All right, so we've covered lighting, we've covered pigeons. I'm going to screen share again so that we have the agenda up. Murals. So I did have a conversation with Urshad, and we sort of filled in a spreadsheet of, sort of trying to identify contact information for buildings that may have space for some of the outdoor murals. We commissioned a design from Ramon Static. We haven't quite found a home for it yet. The building that we thought it was going to go on, the owner wasn't super into the art. So we sort of have that and can commission him to do it, but we need to find another building for it to go on. And then I also spoke a week or two ago with Jenny Vyas, who did the dancer mural. And her process is similar if we want to commission a mural. She charges upfront about $500 to do concept development, develop some concept art that we would then have to, bring back to the commissioners and any potential building owners for review and approval if that's the way that we want to sort of pursue that. I've also been in contact with Nick Soldo at the Croatian Cultural Center. They have an artist that they're talking with about commissioning a mural for their building. I think the way that we would likely handle that one, at least what where I left the discussion with Nick and his team, was that if they, have an artist and they have art and they have a place that they want to put it, to just put that all into a proposal to take to this commission, so that we can just do an up or down vote on funding. Because I think that'll just be more straightforward. Because getting all the moving pieces together of artist and art and building is kind of a lot of cat wrangling, at least has been my experience. So we sort of have a couple irons on the fire on murals, but that's where we're at on that. Any other questions or discussion on that item?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that we can get something moving in the spring. For the Love Fridge, so I spoke with Urshad last week. We connected and set up a WhatsApp group with several of the grocery store owners to coordinate doing some orders for delivery. So I think the first one is supposed to be Parberty Foods was going to do a drop off tomorrow. I sent him the order on Friday. So they're going to do a delivery and then send us an invoice for payment. And then I'm also talking with World Fresh Market to maybe do one either later this week or early next. He's supposed to be sending me a list of items as to what he has in inventory that he can do. So I'm waiting to get that from him. I also had a conversation with Binny at Indo-American Center, since they're hosting the Love Fridge. There seems to be, I think, a little bit of tension between her and Westridge Community Response Team just about sort of the management of the fridge, because the observation that she and I have had, what we've encountered with putting stuff in the fridge, the handful of times that I've done big grocery runs and stocked it myself in my own car, I put everything in, take a picture of it, send it to Binny, and then she goes out there to check on it. Like not even an hour later, it's empty. We think is happening is one or two bag ladies are raiding the whole thing and not really leaving anything for other folks to take once it gets restocked. And we've shared that concern with Hallie, and her whole deal is like, well, they must really need it, and we're supposed to be destigmatizing food insecurity by like just leaving stuff out, no questions asked. And it seems to be that she is operating under very different assumptions than the rest of us, where we really, I think, want to ensure that stuff's being divided up equitably to people that have genuine need, rather than one or two people that are just being opportunists here. So
it's not avoidable. I mean, you can't.
You're gonna have that.
You're gonna have it. Either you have a Love Fridge, and for who cares what happens, or you're not.
So we're gonna honor our commitment through the end of this year. We do still have, I think, a couple $1,000s left of the 5,000 that was approved. We've spent a little under 1,000 so far. So we're gonna finish it out this year. But then I talked with Urshad about sort of finding other community organizations, that might be more in line with what the SSA is about. There might be opportunities, to connect businesses with organizations that are here that have more of a physical presence in the SSA boundary. if we want to try and continue doing, charitable type stuff in the future, which I think, there's definitely interest in doing. But I don't think anyone's been super impressed with the whole deal with the Westridge Community Response Team folks. And we haven't really heard from Haley either since approval. She's kind of dropped off the face of the planet, which I can't say that I super mind, but it's been frustrating all around.
This is being recorded, by the way.
I know. So, but that's where we left it. We're continuing to coordinate grocery drop-offs, but they're not, as far as we can tell, going to as many people as I think we had hoped. New business, I've been in contact with Vijay Pastram and his new tenant, Mr. Bashir. The new store going in at 2555 West Devon is called Raffia. It's a clothing store. He's looking to pursue a bid for signage, but he wasn't able to get his last couple of estimates in. So we're not able to vote on this right now because we're still waiting on drawings and a second estimate. But excited to see that that the space is being used. He's got a new tenant, so that's exciting to see. And then finally, 2022 events. So we didn't have quorum at the last meeting, but we did have, some continued discussion about, what we want to see and try to organize for 2022. So Pete, we reached out to Big Bus about sort of researching, what could be done with sort of your plan for doing the tuk-tuk parade, right? So similar to Cows on Parade, but with the tuk-tuks being decorated. So they started doing some research on that. It ended up becoming, I think, a bit more time consuming than they were looking for it to be. So they wanted us to sort of come back to the group and see, how serious we are about, wanting to pursue this, because they're going to need to, I think, put some more time and resources into researching, to put together a plan for this. So yeah, I wanted to bring that to the group. They're basically asking for a $750 research fee to put together a plan for this event if it's something that we want to move forward. So
Are you should we, do we need to vote on that?
Potentially. I just sort of want to get a sense of where everyone's at. And Sandy, I don't know if you've sort of got anything to add on that front, because we do have, a couple other ideas that we're exploring. I think everybody's, sort of in agreement about trying to do more movie nights and maybe try to do, some international films as part of that. And that's something that we can do, I think, pretty quickly in-house. There was another idea last meeting that was suggested about maybe trying to do like a food crawl. So
we're also still waiting to see what Larissa is doing with the pop-ups. So they got funding to do pop-ups on different corners, part of the alfresco dining program. So they were going to do between Devon and the alley in different areas. And Larissa told us that she was going to send us dates and locations when she has them. And so we didn't want to plan anything until we knew when she was anything on Devon, any events on Devon, until we heard from her what she was doing. But the tuk-tuk program, if we want it to really happen and we really want Big Buzz to do research and find out logistically what we need to do, we need to pay them, basically. I'm
fine with that.
Yeah, it's something new and different. What did they ask for, Cindy? Like $700, I think?
I think it was $750.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, $750. So we have it in the budget under special events. We just pulled out of the special events budget. We just, I guess, want to make sure that you all know that we're going to be, I think it's worth pursuing. So
I do too. I'm also thinking of it in terms of, if we don't have actual moving tuk-tuks, maybe they can be like plaster models on each corner that are decorated by artists, like the cows were.
Yeah.
I prefer the whole moving vehicle, like a parade down the street. That would be more fun. But if we can't get that to happen, we can make it more like the cow thing. I think that could be pretty cool. And maybe not as expensive, or as, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. In any case, I will make a motion to approve $750 towards Big Buzz to research this project. If I'm allowed to make a motion, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You are, but we need a second. Anyone?
Yeah,
Question.
I can do.
Go ahead.
No, ask question.
Question is $750 for research. Is that what we're paying for?
Yes.
Research the tuk-tuk project.
Okay. Go ahead, Sanita. Sorry.
No, ask question if there is any objection. It's not approved yet.
I motioned to approve it. I need a second. Does anyone want to second the motion?
Yeah, I can do second.
Okay, all in favor?
I guess so.
Whoops.
Yay.
Aye.
I do too. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So is there any way like we can add some more research work within that price that we are paying? For example, if we are trying to do more event, like before I mentioned about they do the Roscoe events where they have like a stall outside and we put some more research work towards for them and pay them the same price.
Remind me, which one was this? Which
Uh,
Roscoe
I-
event?
I have seen like there are multiple events they do on the streets of Roscoe and by Uptown, like they block the street, they have the festival going on and all that stuff. If we can do that too on Devon.
Yeah, for like a larger like street festival with closing the street.
Yeah,
And Sandy is probably, I think, a bit more knowledgeable on this than I am, because I know the Westridge Chamber used to do a larger street fair that I think we had co-sponsored, but that was before my time. Like, I don't think it was done. Was it done in 2019?
No, and we can't close Devon, so we can't do a street fest.
Because it's like a state road or whatever.
Yeah, so we've done them on the side streets. We've done them in the Republic Bank parking lot.
I was
Um,
gonna say closing Devon is not,
No,
yeah.
no, we can always. do
okay.
that.
Okay.
But I think that, right now, we don't want to do big outdoor events. So we're looking to do more of the smaller outdoor events, the movies, and like I said, we're waiting to find out what the Westridge Chamber is doing on Devon, and maybe we can either work with them or figure out a way for them to work with us, depending on what we want to do. But we're still.
Have they reached out to us at all about financing for different projects or events? I mean, we got nothing.
Yeah, we
No,
haven't gotten any
no.
requests from them.
So they're not, because they're not doing any big events right now. So they really want to do the these alfresco dining program, these little pop-ups that they want to do. So that's what they're focusing on now. They're focusing on that, and then the radio show that they're doing, or the podcast, or whatever it is. And they're looking to combine those two events. So they're not planning any like on Devon Festival or anything anytime soon.
Well, that motion's still on the table, right? So we had a second, but we need a vote. If we have Mohammed, though, this is for this particular project. We can look into other events too. I'm all for closing the street. I realize that's not an option, but that could be a separate conversation. But
Okay.
now we want to approve the $750 towards study for this project.
Yeah, to do the tuk-tuk thing. And I think
Yeah, go for it.
the other idea that I think we sort of kicked around at the last meeting, which we didn't have quorum. I don't remember who was there. That's also here today was, the suggestion of like maybe trying to promote the restaurants by doing some sort of like a food crawl type of thing. So like we did for Clark Street, we had the taco crawl. in July that was actually really well attended. It was a ticketed event. So we signed up the restaurants. So everybody commits to, providing, a special, like, small menu item. In this case, it was tacos. You sell tickets so everybody knows ahead of time, like how many to make. The restaurants all got paid for being part of it. And it drew people, to the district and into restaurants that they might not otherwise have gone to. So I think we drew like it was 200-ish or 120, 150. I don't remember what the turnout was, but it was
like 160.
Yeah, it was a decent number of people. And so the restaurants get exposure, everybody, gets paid, and it was something that we could hand off to Silverman to promote. So we got some news coverage from that. And we got people in businesses that they hadn't visited before. So maybe that's something that I know pre-pandemic, or I guess in the early days of the pandemic, Westridge was talking about doing a samosa eating contest. Maybe we do a samosa crawl or something.
Yeah, I like that. Samosas are, that should be our thing. So can we get back to this vote? $750 towards the Tuk project research. We have the motion seconded. Can we have a vote on whether you agree with this or not?
I agree with this. We should go forward with that.
Sorry, I'm getting back to the notes. Who made the motion and who seconded? I want to make sure that it's reflected properly.
Pete made the motion. Sanita seconded.
Okay.
I second it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I approved it, like you can move forward with that.
Okay.
It should be better, yeah.
Great. So I'll ask her, I'll tell her that we approve that. And I'll ask her to sort of also work with us on putting together some event concepts for Samosa Crawl. We can, come back to the January meeting and start putting dates on the calendar for some of these things to move forward. And movie nights too. I did talk to Urshad. He thinks he's got a contact that can get us the rights that we need for some of the films. Because I think that could be a really good thing that we can get on the calendar and promote. That'll be a draw for the community and get us some media attention for Devon and hopefully build back where we were with foot traffic. So great, thank you for that. I don't have anything else really on the agenda. I do want to sort of give a quick plug to our annual all SSA year in review meeting on December 9th. That's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning on Zoom. So Caroline and I are starting to work on sort of our presentation for that. But it's going to be sort of a year in review of what all of the Rogers Park SSAs have been up to, all four. So if you're new to this or interested in learning, what all of our SSAs have been doing in sort of the wake of the pandemic over the last year, we definitely encourage folks to turn out. I don't think we actually had anybody from SSA 43 come to the one last year that we did. But we do this every year in place of a December meeting. So we aren't going to have any voting items for December as of now. I think any BIPs that we get will push to January. Does anybody else have any other items to discuss or questions?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Nope, nothing.
Nope, not really.
All right.
No,
Thanks,
good here.
folks. All right. I'll reach out to Big Buzz to get the ball rolling on the event planning stuff. And Mohammed, I'll send you the files for the signs.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Good, quick
Happy
meeting.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. You too.
Yeah, have a nice holiday,
All
everyone.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.